Good morning. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I'm in the middle of doing something, and I thought this is a little different than what I normally do, so maybe I'll just pop on the camera and let you join me while I experiment. You know, experiment is what is my middle name, I think. I did this the other day in my new Etcher Square sketchbook. It's a mushroom that my daughter had taken a picture in the front of our yard with some foliage on the bottom. Now, I must say that in the original photo, the foliage did not look like this. What I did was I came in and did layer upon layer upon layer, let it dry, come back, went through and scratched out some of these marks with it's like a bamboo quill. If I can reach it, I'll show it to you in a minute. Let that dry, and then I came back in again with some different colors. So this one I had prepped the other night. I had already begun doing the base layers, and it's been drying actually a couple days. So today I wanted to come in and just play with some more layers. And in doing so, what I'm doing is just building up areas that I see. Now, this might be hard to explain. In fact, let me move my water over here to the other side because I am working with my non-dominant hand because of this poor thumb is giving me a hard time. So let me do that way, and then you can see better what I'm doing. So I'm coming in here, some of these other areas. This I am kind of re-wetting a little bit here. This is just water now, but it shows up what I had already done the other night because it's freshly wet. But I am going to come in with a new color. And what I'm going to do is I'm coming in with some of my burnt sienna, which is absolutely one of my favorites. And I'm just being judicious, so to speak, about where I put it, because that's what gave me these lovely patterns on this side. When it's totally dry, you can come back in. This is actually kind of a form of negative painting where you are thinking not just about the shape that you're doing, but the shape that you're making with the empty space as well. And by doing this, I can portray, hopefully, some of the foliage on the ground as well as what I've already just painted. Let me get some more of that burnt sienna. I'm using my Michael Harding paints, and my burnt sienna is one of my absolute favorite colors. Come in here as well. So you see how it's just coming back over top, and you can see the colors underneath, but yet it's adding another layer. This is called glazing. I think it might be called charging. I'm not sure of all the technical terms, so forgive me if I'm incorrect. But you see the beautiful markings that that's giving me on my bottom layer as I come in. I purposely have saved my mushrooms. This is a different mushroom photo than what I did the other day. This is still burnt sienna, just coming on top, trying to just give another layer of color to what I'm doing. Very different than my spontaneous painting, but not so different for me in that I'm not a botanical painter. I don't try to go for every single detail. That is not what I'm trying to do, because I just don't really do very well at that, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to come in here. You see these marks on the page. That's from that bamboo quill. And so I'm just coming in here kind of haphazardly, actually. haphazardly yet thinking at the same time, trying to leave some of these marks. Now you see, as I do this, you see that spot, those spots right there? I'm not covering those up, so that's actually going to give me more of a foliage, natural look of layered leaves in the yard underneath. Then what I'll do is I will let this dry again, and I'll come back and play again some more, maybe with some different colors. What I did in, this is very dark around here, but I'm trying to just build it up gradually. You don't want to go too dark too soon, because once you've gone there, you just can't get it back. Once the darkness, the dark colors are in there, you're kind of committed to those dark shades. Unlike other, acrylics, you can build dark to light, but not in watercolor. We try to go light to dark, unless it's a very special circumstance, and I off the top of my head, I don't know what that would be. So I'm trying to just come in here and leave some other places that we can just kind of add to this foliage appearance. The other thing I also did in this one here, as I came back in with some of my Japanese Kuretake, and because they have such an opaque quality, I was able to come back in and kind of give some highlights on that as well. All right, let me come in here, let that dry a little bit, and let me come in here and see what I can do with my mushroom. This is not the same reference photo. This is a different mushroom. Same yard. My daughter probably took it the same day. It had been after some rain. Let me move this out of the way. Well, this isn't working very well, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it flat. But I've just done kind of a base color here on the mushroom. I'm going to come up here and get some of this Michael Harding. This is Pyrrole Red. Come over the top a little bit. There are these white spots, so I do want to be careful to leave those. The mushroom color is almost kind of an orangey color, so what I did on this other one is I did it first, and then I came back over and added my yellows later, just to lighten it up a little bit, give it some more color. Now, I see that I'm going off a little bit, but that's because I'm using my non-dominant hand, and that's okay. My right hand just doesn't want to cooperate right now, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, take a break, and I'll get back to you later when you're able, if you're able. I've actually been told sometimes by some people that I do better with my non-dominant than I do with my dominant. Come in just a little bit more. This is very pigmented, and I haven't watered this down a whole lot because I'm really kind of wanting to get this this red in there. And I also do want to leave some of those white spots because that's the way it looks. Kind of rinse that out a little bit. Come down here to my baby mushroom here in this corner. This one, actually, I didn't really fill this one in correctly because it has that center is a white stem, and it's been eaten by whatever little critters out there in my yard. And so not only does it have the white of the mushroom, but it has the stem. And I know my non-dominant hands is not, you know, it's making mistakes, but you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to go for it. That's just kind of a freestyle anyway. Let's bring this up in here a little bit. So what I am going to have to do when this is dry, this portion here, right here in the center, that's the white stem. And this is the white stem. So I purposely let those stay white. And then I'm going to come back and work on those after the fact. I'm just avoiding them right now. And I will come back either with my opaque Japanese paints with the white. It's very opaque, almost gouache-like. And do that, or even come in with a, I don't know, just a slight bit of color and fill in those spots later. So there, I got some red in there in my mushroom. I want to bring just a touch of gold. I'm going to come in here with my, this is my Quin Gold. And I'm just going to, this is still a little wet. I'm going to come in with my Quin Gold, and I'm just going to drop some colors in here to let it just kind of spread on its own and give a little texture to my mushroom, because it's just not strictly red. There's yellows, there's you know, kind of an orangey colors. So my Quin Gold will kind of do that. I love Quin Gold in just about any brand of paint. I particularly love the Michael Harding paints. I've been painting with them now since September, pretty much totally. So that's pretty. You see some of these little markings on the mushroom with the Quin Gold. It just kind of brightens it up. These, the gold colors, often the Quin Gold and Nickel Azo Yellow, they're kind of pushy actually. They kind of push out your other colors out of the way. Let me put some on this little guy too. And let those dry. And like I said, I am going to have to come in here with some darker color for the inside of that mushroom, because I didn't really do that right. While I'm in this Quin Gold, let me kind of add some of this up in here. Well, it's not going to make that much difference, is it? I'm trying to kind of go in between these patterns that I made with my bamboo coil marker. You could also use the side of a credit card. Some people even use their fingernail. And just kind of make these marks when it's almost dry. Not quite dry. And I'm just kind of using it to help make that pattern in the ground in my foliage. So I'm liking that. I am going to have to let this dry a little bit, but I like what the Quin Gold's doing. Some more over here. So that's where I'm going to leave it at this stage at the moment. Then I will come back and, okay, so I picked up some of that. I'm just going to let it run. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Actually, oops, I got way too much paint on that one. Finally clear. I'm going to come in here to my thinking Potter's Pink. A little bit of a rose color in here. In my photo, there is a little bit of a reddish tint in the foliage with some of the leaves. And this Potter's Pink is a wonderfully granulating color. And actually, believe it or not, I love to do trees with my Potter's Pink. Look at that nice soft color it brings. And it really blends in nicely with the foliage. Now I know that I don't go outside and see pink leaves. This is kind of a granulating color, and I'm letting it mix in over some of these others. And I know that this little mushroom has spread from the water. I'm not worried about that either. That's part of painting. The joy of painting with watercolors, you're just kind of letting it go and do what it wants to do. And like I say, I'm not a botanical painter because my hands and my watercolor won't let me be a botanical painter. I don't have that much control of my hands. And with watercolor, my watercolor is just fine with that. It's just like, leave your hands and your thinking out of it. Just let me do what I want to do and I'll be happy. So that's what I do. Now this is really wet up here, so I'm gonna need to, I can put some down in here. But as you can see, I'm getting kind of different colors and layers. And what I will do as I go, I'll come back later and I will add some more colors. And each time I come in to do more layers, I am able to get a little more detailed, like I did in, let me come out a little bit, like I did in this one. You can see how in this one, let me zoom in. When it was dry, I came back in with more detail, smaller brush, and actually did kind of paint some patterns in here that looked like leaves. So I will get to that point with this one. I'm just not there yet. This is a little bit too wet. I'm gonna pick that up. And but I just wanted to share that, what I'm doing this morning and how I'm kind of going about it. If I can get myself to stop. Comes some more burnt sienna. Actually, what I want to add is some raw umber. Let me get some of that in here. I'm terrible about stopping, and then to my own detriment sometimes. Got to, oh, that's a nice big blob. I just refilled my, but I'm just gonna kind of let it work for me. I just refilled my pans, so these are really fresh and wet. But see how that I can come over the top of those other colors and then give the appearance of other leaves or foliage underneath. And what I'll be doing is I will be doing more of that as it dries, because I like what that does. I'm gonna take the paint, because I got a big glob of paint. I'm gonna let that come on up here. And I'm just gonna use it to my advantage. It's there, it wants to be used, I'm gonna use it. See, I've got these lines here with that quill brush or quill pen. And so I can kind of follow those too as a pattern. But see how that gives depth to my foliage. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'll be doing as this dries, this is a little bit too wet to do it up here right now. But as this dries, I hope you get the idea, I will come back in with multiple layers. I let it dry, which is one of the things I've had to overcome. One of my weaknesses is stopping and letting things dry, and then come back over. When you have pigments that are transparent and they will layer well. These paints are by Michael Harding. A lot of them are single pigments, so you're going to get that transparency and the nice blending, as well as being able to come back over and charge or glaze. Glazing, I think, is more over a whole area, but I think charging has to do with the individual areas. I'm not sure of my terminology. Someone can correct me on that. But you see how as it dries, it's forming other little leaves that I did. Then that way I don't have to go in there and try to draw every little leaf. I'm just letting the paint do it for me. And then as I watch it and come back, I will see areas where I want to touch it up, and then come back. And someone actually asked me if this was a collage piece because of the textured look. But nope, I did it just like this. So I thought you might be interested, and thank you for watching and subscribing and liking and all those things that people do on Facebook. I appreciate it. It's Pam with Follow Your Brush, and stay warm today wherever you are. If you're in the United States, I think even the UK, you're probably really cold. I know we are here in Georgia, and that's unusual. Have a great day, and of course, always follow your brush. Thanks.